my hill and strutting my
biggest
feet.
city, I get
Is there anything I
claustrophobic
can do
anyway.
for you, Dez?
Sometimes I
Is
just need to
there
step back,
anyone I could
just
call?
breathe,
No one
take in my
please
surroundings,
look down.
find where I'm
I
comfortable,
ain't lost, just
cause I know I got love.
Run my hometown,
You want five?
memories of friends.
Welcome in another edition of DYST Live. I'm your host, Mike Ortiz. Jr. to my right, Greg Armstrong.
What up, everybody?
How's it?
It's been 2 weeks since the draft. It was a
long one.
It was a long draft.
It was a very long draft.
And it was also a long draft. Got a little tired towards the end.
Yeah.
And it was freezing. It was freezing where we did this show.
Yeah, it was very cold.
I thought I was going to die of hypothermia.
Next time we'll do it on like a sunny beach in California.
Hey, you're more than welcome to come to California.
I mean, that's also breaking news. Greg's going to be moving to California here soon.
September. So if anyone wants to hang out with me, do it before September.
Do it for
Or
September.
don't.
Or
Either or. I'll be happy either way.
Right before football season, too.
No, I'm actually moving. So the Jets start out on Monday night at Detroit, then they go home, play the Dolphins. I'm going to the home opener. Then they play Cleveland on Thursday night. So then there's like a 10-day lull. And I'm like, oh, well, I got to make it to LA before the next Sunday because I'm not going to miss a Jet game. But I won't miss a Jet game for anything. So I figured I'll just leave in those 10 days. But I'll still be here. I'll be Skyping in.
Yeah, he'll be Skyping in and stuff like that.
Unless you don't want me to. Unless you hate me, then I won't be Skyping in.
Then he won't.
I'll
it's up to you
just
guys.
watch. I'll comment. I'll be a mean commenter. The show stinks.
Well, anyways, here we got a pretty packed show. The NBA playoffs. This has been. I like it a lot better than I did last year, I think.
Yeah. My Raptors just got absolutely demolished by LeBron.
Yeah.
And it was a nice, I had a friend text me about the betting line for Game 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I was just like, dude, I don't even care anymore. Like, LeBron just, ripped my heart out and just, ate it in front of me and then, stuffed the remnants back into my body. It was just, I've never been more demoralized watching just any sports than I was this 4-game series. After Game 1 was the perfect opportunity to beat them. They were killing them in the first half. You knew the Cavs were going to come back in the second half, but missing 15 out of 16 shots in between the fourth quarter and overtime, not ideal. But a lot of it was just easy layups, and it was just if one of those falls, we win. And none of them fell, and we lost. And then,
They killed them.
Yeah, that. Once that happened and we didn't take Game 1, I knew the series was over. It was either going to be a sweep or it was either going to be a gentleman's sweep. And now the Raptors, who knows where they go.
We'll talk about the Raptors a little bit. We're gonna.
Do we have to?
We're gonna. We have to do it. We have to do it. We have to talk about them. It's the elephant in the room we gotta address.
Yeah.
But we're gonna break down the Boston-Philly series here in a bit. That's where we're gonna start off with. We're gonna obviously jump to preview the Western Conference Finals as well. We're going to give you an update on Dez Bryant, where he might go, he might not go. My boy. Stay representing the X. We're going to talk about Mark Ingram, if he's worthy of a contract or not. And then we're going to say, who won the NFL draft. We'll go there. That's kind of the show list today. We're going to obviously throw in some surprise things as well as the show goes on. So
don't
definitely
spoil
stay
the
tuned.
surprise.
No spoilers.
Don't spoil it.
No Infinity War spoilers either.
I'm
I haven't watched it yet.
I have not seen a single Marvel movie.
Perfect.
It's awful. Because my Twitter timeline is just saying characters' names, and it's the Hulk. I was like, I know that one.
Yeah, I know that one.
It's this Thanos guy.
Yeah, Fortnite's got some
what the
Thanos
hell is this
guy, no
hand
clue.
he has with jewels?
Yeah.
I have no clue what any of this
I have to
means.
catch up. But once I catch up, I'm going to watch Infinity War.
All the guys at Turn on the Jets are making references to Infinity War, and I'm so lost.
Yeah,
It's
no
when
clue.
people talk Game of Thrones. I've seen 20 minutes of Game of Thrones at first episode. That's it. I can't bring myself to watch it.
Yeah, I can't either.
I feel like I'm too far removed from the Marvel and Infinity War stuff to go back and watch every single movie.
Yeah.
Because it's from what I've heard, it's you have to watch all the Iron Mans and you have to watch Captain America.
It's almost like a chore.
Yeah, I don't have time to watch all
Movies
this
are supposed to be
stuff.
for entertainment. We have a list of the movies that we need to watch.
Yeah.
The weather's nice. I don't want to sit and watch movies all day.
Heavens no, absolutely not. And telling me I have to watch a movie makes me want to watch a movie less. I'm not a big movie guy because it's very hard for me to sit down for an extended period of time and watch an entire movie. Telling me that I have to watch these movies I'm immediately out on.
So if you're watching this, I want you guys to all comment. You know, if you've watched Infinity War, if you haven't watched Infinity War,
Am I a loser for not watching it?
Yeah. Tell us why we should watch Infinity War, I guess.
Sway me.
But we're going to jump into it first here. The Boston, Philadelphia, they're going Game 5. Philly, obviously, getting that win at home to avoid the sweep. Are you giving the Sixers any chance?
Tonight? Yeah. It's tough, though, because, like, you see, they're just such a young team. Like, they just make dumb mistakes.
Yeah.
Like, games 1 through 3 were very winnable. Game 3 was also, like, the most winnable.
Yeah.
And you just see it comes down to whether that's Brett Brown or whether it's the young guys just making rookie mistakes. Like, those are just growing pains. And when you're going up against a team like Brad Stevens, I don't care that they don't have Kyrie. No Hayward. You're starting guys. I mean, the average NBA fan is going to look at a lineup of Rozier, Smart, Brown, Tatum, Horford, or Baines, just any collection of those guys in the starting lineup, and look and see, like, well, how is this Philly team not beating the Celtics team? But a lot of that comes down to coaching. I think they have a shot. It's going to be even more tough being in Boston tonight, because you see role players and rookies generally play better at home, and Boston obviously at home. I don't think they get it done tonight. I think it's going to be the Celtics. The Celtics, I sneakily love, like, half of their team. Like, I love
the Celtics.
I love Terry Rozier. I've loved Terry Rozier for a while. Marcus Smart, well-known, one of my favorite NBA players ever. Tatum is a Duke guy. I wanted Jalen for the Raptors 2 years ago. I thought he was going to fall to 9. Like, I was all in on Jalen, and then they took him at 3. So, like, I really like this Celtics team. I don't think Philly gets it done tonight. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be like the rest of the series. It's going to be close. But I just think Boston and Brad Stevens are just like the kryptonite to what this Philly team is right now.
Yeah. It's interesting. Everyone's talking about, who should be the most valuable player? Who should be the most, like, this and that. And quite frankly, it's Brad Stevens is the most valuable person in the NBA. He's really proved it this series with just how he's able to not only knock off Miami, but knock off a hot Philadelphia team that everybody thought was going to be this elite team and just have a cakewalk to the Eastern Conference Finals. They're sitting up 3-1. I mean, he literally turned... You look at Isaiah Thomas got MVP votes, like, to win the MVP.
Yeah.
And now all
and then
of a
his
sudden...
hips fell off of his body.
That's true, too. But look at how he was with Brad Stevens and then how he was after Brad Stevens. And I'm not just using him as an example. You can go down the line of players that left Boston. Some of them have continued a decent career. Like Jay Crowder is not too bad with Utah, but like the Jay Crowder in Boston versus Jay Crowder in Utah, like the way that Brad Stevens utilizes these players and gets these guys up for games, gets them excited for games, and how he creates them is like Bill Belichick-esque. And I don't mean to keep it like that because they're in the same city, but it's crazy.
No, it makes sense. I mean, he's going to get the most out of all of his players, and that's essentially what you want out of a coach. He puts the guys in the right spots to make plays and make winning plays, and you see like Isaiah, like they used him perfectly. Like they knew he wasn't going to be able to defend anybody, so they just let him do whatever on offense, and you bring in guys to kind of hide him on defense. It's like the same thing, that Cleveland struggles with in the finals with Kevin Love. I mean, save the play against Curry a couple years ago, but like going up against their lineup, it's very hard to hide Kevin Love on anybody just because they're so good. And Stevens did a good job with Isaiah with that. The thing with this Boston team now is that not only are they just like a bunch of like, I wouldn't say ragtag, but it's just essentially a lot of role players.
Yeah.
Like a lot of these guys are not going to be getting the minutes and getting the exposure that they are with any other team. I mean, most of them.
Yeah.
But Stevens gives them the belief that, hey, we can win if we execute. And
Exactly.
that's scary going up against anybody. I mean, we'll see how it goes up. Like I said, I think Boston takes this one in 5. It's interesting to see how that happens against LeBron because LeBron can like just break your whole team down and just break your whole team's spirit down. I mean, I've seen it with the Raptors. So how do they defend LeBron? How do they go at him? Cleveland's role players on that team are stepping it up when they need to. I'm interested to see how Stevens goes against them in the playoffs because you can do whatever you want in the regular season against the Cavs. Playoff LeBron is a completely different animal, and the playoff Cavs are a completely different animal. So that's going to be a fun matchup because we all know Lou is not doing a damn thing on that sideline. But That's going to be a fun thing to see with Stevens. I mean, I wouldn't be upset if we got a Celtics-Warriors finals. It would suck for, like, the majority of NBA fans. Also, the majority of NBA fans that, like, don't, it's like, oh, Cavs, Warriors, like, we're going to get through this again. It's like, yeah, because it's fun. And, like, seeing LeBron and seeing the best team of our generation go up against each other is fun.
Like if the people have been saying that, like, oh, the NBA is top heavy, they still get great ratings. If the NFL was top heavy, it would be better for the NFL. Like, if we had 4 years in a row of Cowboys versus Steelers in the Super Bowl, well, it would be great for me, obviously.
Well, yeah.
But that would be good. Like, it causes that rivalry that people are looking for. You know what I mean?
I say it all the time with the NCAA tournament. Like, the upsets are cool in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
But once you get into that second weekend, you want to have the best teams playing for a national championship.
Exactly.
Because then you get blowouts. And then no one wants to watch those. And everyone's like, oh, this stinks. Like, why are these teams playing here? And it's like you guys want, like, you have to pick a side. Like, do you want to see the best teams win and play against each other?
Exactly.
Or do you want, like, these underdogs going into the championship and then just getting their teeth kicked in by the obviously superior opponent? I mean, to bring it back to football, like, does it suck seeing the Patriots in the Super Bowl all the time? Yeah. But, like, what other team do you think is going to put up good Super Bowls and good enough fights against NFC teams?
Exactly.
Like, the past couple of times the Pats have been in the Super Bowl. Like, the Broncos-Panthers game wasn't that great.
Yeah.
Broncos-Seahawks was atrocious. Like, one of the worst Super Bowls ever. So, like, pick your poison.
Yeah.
Like,
what do you want to see? Do you want to see something good, or do you want to see something completely bad?
yeah, do you just not want to see the Patriots in the Super Bowl, or do you want, like, a good Super Bowl? Like, at the point, I don't care if the Patriots win. Like, I just want to see good teams in the Super Bowl. Same thing with the NBA Finals. Like, if LeBron's going full LeBron and putting out this stat lines that he's had all playoffs long, like, hell yeah, I want to see him in the finals. Yeah. And I want to see him go up against this Warriors team. But, like, I think we're in a good spot where if we happen to get Boston-Philly, or Boston-Houston, I wouldn't be upset. Any final scenario I will not be upset with. But it's just one of those things where catering to the non-diehard NBA fans is tough when you don't have a Golden State and a LeBron James on either side.
Yeah, I think... I mean, obviously, I don't see Philadelphia coming back just because Brad Stevens, the way that he's got the Celtics playing.
And the Celtics have 2 home games left.
Yeah, they have 2 home games left. And, like, I mean, obviously, we haven't seen much of, this Celtics roster together. I mean, they're younger. Then, obviously, they have Al Horford. They have a lot of role players, just overall.
Yeah.
And a lot of people really count them out. But, I mean, the way that Brad Stevens, like, I don't want to keep reiterating myself, but the way that Brad Stevens has his team playing is just, they're playing out of their mind. And I want to see how they play Cleveland. I think it's not going to be a cakewalk for Cleveland. I think Cleveland will probably win this series ultimately. But realistically, it's going to come down to how Tatum and Brown play, and how the rest of the role players play. But I think the way that Brad Stevens plays LeBron James will be interesting to see. I mean, Al Horford said after, I believe, Game 3, he said, like, they were coming out of a timeout and Brad Stevens drew a play up where Al Horford scored on. But, like, sitting there in the huddle, he's looking at Brad like, how does this guy come up with that? But, like, Brad Stevens is just that basketball nerd. Like, he knows the game inside and out. Right. And we're seeing it against a very talented... Like, this Philadelphia team is not going anywhere. So if you're a Philadelphia fan, like, you guys won a Super Bowl, okay? Yeah. Like, give it up. Like, you can't have it all. You've gotten, more than what you've, like, expected this season.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just continue to trust the process. This Sixer team is not going anywhere.
I have 2 questions. We have a comment.
We got a nice little... Are they talking about Infinity War?
No, they said Brad Stevens is the best NBA coach right now. I'm still going Popovich because he hasn't won a championship yet. And, like, it's hard for me to put Stevens ahead of Popovich when Popovich has the pedigree and the wins. Like, Brad Stevens is definitely on the trajectory to surpass Pop.
Yeah.
Like, but we need more rings and we need more sustained success because the first couple of years of Brad, it's essentially been a process of their own because they had the Brooklyn picks, they had the young players, and now that it's starting to take form, like Kyrie and Hayward are coming back next year. We see what Rozier is.
Yeah.
Smart, like I said, I will never say a bad word about Marcus Smart. We see, them trading back from 1 to 3, getting another pick in the process, and getting Tatum, probably the best player in the draft. I mean, besides Donovan Mitchell. Like, everyone's going to continue to improve, and then you throw in Kyrie, and then you throw in Hayward,
Yeah.
So, like, if they can have sustained success, then yeah. If they're on the trajectory that I think that they are, Stevens is definitely in line to take that spot over Popovich. But right now, I can't put Stevens over Popovich. 2 questions for you. Which team, or next 5 years, because this question has been posed on Twitter.
Okay.
Next 5 years, who would you rather have, LeBron or Brad Stevens?
Brad Stevens.
You think so?
Brad Stevens can coach for. I could have Brad Stevens.
I'm just saying for the next 5 years.
Next
5-year period.
Next 5-year period. I'm saying Brad Stevens, and we're gonna see in this Eastern Conference Finals why Brad Stevens is the most valuable person in this series.
I think LeBron still has 3 or 4 more like elite level LeBron James type seasons left.
Yeah, I definitely.
It's hard for me to take him over LeBron. I don't think I can do it. Like, if we've learned anything throughout LeBron's career, do not bet against LeBron. Unless you like the Warriors, but like whenever you like count LeBron out, you're just done for. I mean, even in the first finals against the Warriors, like Kyrie goes down with a broken kneecap. Kevin Love's shoulder was in like the 8th row when Kelly Olynyk ripped it out, and he still put up just an insane series to get that series to 6. The year that they won it, obviously, and then last year, like, they just ran into a buzzsaw with that Warriors team, and the Cavs lineup was just awful. But it's hard for me to take LeBron over Stevens. It's hard for me to take Stevens over LeBron. My next question: which process would you rather have for the next 5 years, Philly or Boston?
Boston.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, Boston.
Thank you.
Boston's going to win. I'd say within the next 5 years.
I think they're going to be in a better position to compete for a championship than Philly. I don't know if they're going to win.
I think they get. I definitely think they get a title in the next 5 years, barring injury. You know, as long as they're fully healthy with Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, there's no doubt in my mind that this team does not win an NBA championship by any means. They're definitely going to get the job done with that. As hard as that, I mean, I'm a Lakers fan. The last thing I want to see is Boston win a championship.
Yeah.
But I love the way Brad Stevens has his team playing. And like the Eastern Conference Finals, whether it be LeBron and the Cavs by 1 million or what, this is going to be, I guess, a real measuring point for the Celtics of what team can you expect from them.
Yeah.
Because if they can play this Cavs team tough, which noted, this Cleveland Cavaliers team isn't anything special.
No.
You know, they're trying to still find their way as well, but
when you have LeBron James, it's a lot easier for your role players to find their way.
Which gets into that MVP argument, which I'm not even going to waste time on it. It should be LeBron James.
It should be every year. I mean, we've talked about it before.
We've talked about it before. It's useless to go on. I bet you LeBron got, one first-place vote last year? He's probably going to get none this year, which is crazy, whatever. The Houston Rockets are going to choke in the Western Conference Finals anyways. We're going to see James Harden's demise. Anyways, we're going to jump into that next, actually, here. Let's talk a little Rockets-Warriors action here. It's set to go for Monday.
That's so far away.
It's kind of far. I was looking. I was like, when are they going to have the game? Oh, wow. Next what, Monday?
Yeah, that's so far away.
That's a lot of rest, though.
So you do when you win 5.
Steph Curry needs that rest.
Yeah. Especially going up against this Rockets team.
This would be interesting.
I'm probably going to take Warriors in 6. 6. I wanted to say 5, but this Houston team is rolling.
This Houston team is rolling, but I want to put it into perspective because, I agree with you. I was like, wow, this Rockets team's been red hot. They've been on fire. There's a couple still things that, when I think of Houston, I think of one Mike D'Antoni. He's never been a coach that can get the job done. We've been talking about coaching, how important it is to win a championship. Coaching, I still think, is a big part to win a championship. Now, I still think they have the talent to win a title. Don't get me wrong.
Their defense is
This might be their chance to really take it because Steph's a little banged up. He's a little hobbled still. But the way we'll put the measuring point for me on this series of why I lean towards the Warriors heavily is because, I looked at how Houston played Utah. They beat them game 1, but Utah was coming off of less than 40 hours rest.
Right.
Ricky Rubio was out for the series.
Rubio being out was huge.
Yeah, he was one of their key players.
If you would have told me, like, a month ago that, like, Ricky Rubio being out for the Jazz is like a huge thing for the Jazz Rocket series. I would have laughed and probably smacked you across the face.
Yeah.
But like, we saw how Rubio played against the Thunder, and it was just like, you saw it against the Rockets. It was just like, wow, like they really
alive.
need this guy.
He came alive.
Yeah,
he did, and that's why I really point. I don't put an asterisk. I think the Rockets still would have got the series done, but I think Utah would have won. I think Utah would have won 2 more games. I think they would have pushed the Game 7 on this Houston team. And if Exum wasn't injured either, because Dante Exum, he locked up James Harden pretty well.
I think it would have been more competitive. I don't think they would have won the game simply because just of Houston's just overall talent, and when you have the best player in the series in James Harden, it's very hard. Like, I am one of those people that says, like, if you have the best player in the series, like, you're probably going to win.
Yeah.
And like Capella is just turned into like Hakeem Olajuwon out there. Like,
no, he's really underrated.
Yeah,
really
and like
is.
I've loved Capella for a couple of years now. I always thought he could be just like essentially like a DeAndre Jordan, but like I think maybe a little like a better skill set than him.
Yeah.
And we see that he's turning into that. It's going to be interesting. I'm very interested to see this series. We've been wanting it. I mean, we said it like during the middle of the season. Some of us that like this is probably going to be the NBA Finals, like Rockets Warriors. It's like those Final Four games where it's like this is the actual national championship as opposed to the actual national championship. Mm-hmm. This is kind of what's going to be. Hot and rolling. Probably the two best teams in the entire league going up against each other. I can't bet against the Warriors. I want to see James Harden in a crunch time situation, like against the Warriors, a big time series. Chris Paul never been in the conference finals before. I'm very interested to see how that plays out. That little scenario.
Yeah. No. We're gonna take a short break here, real quick. We'll be right back. All right, we're back real quick. We just had a slight technical difficulty here, but
it happens.
Yeah, I mean, so ultimately, let's wrap it up. Rockets, Warriors. You said Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6.
I agree with that. I think obviously Houston's gonna get at least 1 win under their belt, probably 2. I mean, this is gonna be a great game, a great series to bet the over. I think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is gonna be a shootout.
Which is weird because like these are 2 really good defensive teams.
Yeah.
They're 2 good defensive teams, but like their offenses are just like
so high powered.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's very weird.
It's gonna be a fun series to watch.
Yeah.
And I think ultimately whoever wins the series wins the championship.
Yeah.
You know,
no, I agree.
Unless somebody plays out of their mind. But yeah, I mean, let's jump to it next here. We gotta talk about it. Your Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, not great.
I mean,
we're gonna play highlights. Oh, Dwayne Casey.
We're gonna zoom around Dwayne Casey's face.
Yeah.
I'll let you go first. Here, what would you do right now? You got the whole offseason. What do you do?
It's usually the step-by-step thing in sports is when you lose, when this kind of thing happens and you just can't get over that hump, the coach is usually the first person to go, which sucks because the guys love Casey. Like DeMar talks all the time about how Casey was a father figure, and like this whole team just like loves Casey so much. But in crunch time situations, Casey has no clue what he's doing, and like he doesn't put this team in a great position to win.
I agree with that.
A lot of it is just like iso ball. Like have DeMar and Lowry go get a bucket. Like Valanciunas doesn't really play in the crunch time. I don't understand why, because like when he's giving teams buckets, like just play him. Like Serge had one of the worst playoff series that I've ever seen in my entire life. Like it was atrocious.
Yeah.
He just crunch time, like he doesn't know what to do. And when this team plays the Cavs, I don't know if it's a player thing or if it's more of a coaching thing, but these guys look like they don't know how to play basketball. Like a lot of it is just like almost like just pickup. Like it's just like, all right, I'm gonna take my guy 1-on-1 and I'm gonna try to get a bucket, and if that doesn't work, like, we're screwed. And we saw in Game 1, like, Valanciunas was destroying the Cavs inside. And that worked. And they probably should have won Game 1. But, like, after that, like, they're leaving Korver wide open. Like, their defensive rotations are atrocious. And like I said, I don't know if that's on players or if that's more on coaching. Because we've seen the same thing for 3 years now. Like, LeBron just comes in. 2 years ago, we saw it with, it was 2-2, but it was like the least interesting 2-2 of all time because we all knew the Cavs were just going to blow them out in the following 2 games.
Yeah.
I've heard talk of blowing it up. I don't think they should. Like, Pirtle has shown he can be a really good bench player, and he shined in the playoffs. Siakam, along with him, both have showed that they're good young players. Norm Powell stayed to the bench, whatever. DeLon Wright, very good bench player. I didn't have much faith in DeLon Wright before the season and even before the playoffs. He showed that he's a very good bench player. Fred VanVleet, when he's not hurt, very good. Anunoby, we were talking pre-show.
Yeah.
If he, like, his timetable to return after they drafted him was December. He started night 1, which was in October. Like, that's insane. If he, going into next season, and he doesn't have to do all of that rehab, and he can just focus on getting better, I think he can be the player that they want him to be. Like, he was a steal in the 20s for the Raptors. I think they should get rid of Ibaka. I don't think you're not going to get a ton from him on the trade market. I think Valanciunas' trade stock has just, I wouldn't say plummeted, but it's decreased. Like, a couple years ago, they probably could have got a lot more for him. I think it sucks, but I think you just have to get rid of Casey at this point and just try something new.
I agree with that. I think
before blowing it up. Like, if you get a new coach and it doesn't work, then you just blow it up. Like,
see, when I really thought, and I saw the Dwayne Casey rumors of, you know, how the Raptors are getting ready to probably part ways with him.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that came to my mind was, I was like, okay, let's look at this Raptors team from top to bottom. Let's look at Dwayne Casey. Okay, obviously, great point. He cannot coach come crunch time, fourth quarter. He can't do it.
I don't know the record off the top of my head, but, like, in close games, they were atrocious.
Yeah.
Like, it was essentially just like, you have to blow teams out, otherwise you're not going to win. And come playoff time, like, you're not going to blow every team out.
So you have to hit the check mark on that. Casey's gone. We'll see you later.
Mm-hmm.
I think, do you blow it up? Yes, at the right...
Not this year.
For the right situation.
Not this year.
And here's what I'm saying by that. Well, here's what I mean by that. Greg Popovich and Kawhi Leonard are obviously okay. Wash their hands.
They ain't getting Kawhi.
They want Kawhi to go to the East.
They ain't getting Kawhi.
If I'm the Raptors, I say, okay, we look at Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan. It really hasn't worked, coaching or not. You look at the Portland Trailblazers. We had Dame Lillard, CJ McCollum. It really hasn't worked. I mean, the Blazers got bounced the past 2 first rounds in the playoffs. They probably should have beat the New Orleans Pelicans. Pelicans, don't get me wrong, played a great series, but
they smoked them,
realistically, the Portland Trailblazers had more talent. They should have won that series. I compare those two teams. I think those two teams are very similar in certain aspects. However, I think if you can move DeMar DeRozan and a first round pick for Kawhi Leonard, I'm doing that all day.
Yeah.
You have to do it, and you just take the rebuild. You take what you can do with that.
I think that's, like, best case scenario. I don't think you can get by with just trading DeMar in a 1, only because his contract is just, like, it's very large, a lot of money.
It's not nothing cheap.
But yeah, I don't think it's tough, man. Like, I love DeMar, and I like what he's done for the city, and, like, I still think he is the guy. But I just don't know how far this team takes it. I don't know what. At this point, it's almost just like, see if teams can get better. Like, see if the team can just, like, improve from, like, the bench and whatnot. But a lot of it comes down to coaching, like we've talked about. Like, we just hammered that point home. Like, a lot of it's just coaching, and they got their doors blown off by the Cavs. And my approach would be fire Casey, like, get somebody else in there who can coach in crunch time, develop players, and hope and pray to God that LeBron leaves the East.
Yeah.
I think that's all they can do right now. LeBron owns it. They called it LeBronto.
Yeah. No, I know.
My soul left my body when Mark Jones said it was LeBronto. I was like, what? Why? What are we doing here?
Yeah, I mean, they own They certainly are.
It's LeBron. LeBron just owns the Raptors. It's I don't know. Like LeBron's my favorite player, so it's even more tough to see him just throw my team around like a rag doll. But that's the world we live in, I guess.
I guess we'll see what happens there as the offseason plays out. Obviously, we'll keep you updated as well, what goes on in that situation. But next topic here is this guy, Dez Bryant.
Your boy.
He is still an NFL free agent. Are you shocked by this? Are you not shocked by this?
I'm honestly not shocked by it.
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest here.
Because I think he turned down the Ravens because he didn't want a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Like, buddy, that's all you're gonna have to take a 1-year prove-it deal. Like, your stats haven't been that good. You obviously shown that you're not a number one receiver that requires a lot of attention when you're playing on the outside. You gotta just it's one of those things with athletes where it's just like you have to know when it's your time. And I'm not saying he's gonna retire, but you're not getting a huge multi-year contract from anybody. You like at this point, if you're just gonna keep waiting it out, it might work out if you're gonna get a call from a team that a wide receiver gets injured in camp. But other than that, you're gonna have to just suck it up and take a 1-year deal and a 1-year prove-it deal.
Yeah, and I think that's best case scenario for him. The problem is the people that I've spoken with, he's not getting that offer is on the table now, which is crazy to see. Because I mean, if you look at Dez Bryant, like he can still play.
He could be a good red zone and be a good slot receiver.
Exactly, he has to go to the right position. He has to give up the X net, and those are the conversations that are happening in these meetings. Is Dez doesn't want to give up the X. He doesn't want to move positions. And with some teams, I mean, they might be still looking for that X receiver, but in his best case scenario for money, everything, go 1-year prove-it deal.
Yeah.
Move to the slot, go to a grid scenario, build a because he could still play. I mean,
you could still put up good stats from the slot. Like
the highlight from the Monday Night Football player that's playing right here against the Cardinals. I mean, he lined up in the slot, and it was just a simple, quick slant, but the yards after the catch is what's key about Dez Bryant.
He's still a big, strong dude. Like, you can still have really good stats as a slot receiver. Like, if you're just going to get locked up by number 1 and number 2 corners like you have the past year and a half, 2 years, like, okay, that's going to happen. So move into the slot, play against safeties, play against nickelbacks, play against linebackers, most of which are not big enough to cover you.
Exactly.
And increase that stat line and get a big contract. Like, pick a 1-year deal, go to the right system, and just deal with it. Like, buddy, what are we doing here?
Yeah, and I've looked at I went back and watched more tape on it too, just to see like kind of, okay.
Mike's search history is just Dez Bryant touchdowns.
it might be. But no, like,
along with other things that we can't say on it.
But in all seriousness though, I went back and
Cheeks
watched.
are getting a little red over there.
Yeah, a little red, but you just got to delete it, But
private browsing is a thing, my friend.
But all jokes aside, like I went back and watched it, and like you look at how Dez Bryant played with Tony Romo, and you look how he played with Dak Prescott. Now listen, Dak Prescott I think is going to be a great quarterback. I think Cowboys need to pump the brakes on giving him a max deal, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Matt Ryan money for a little bit here. Let him play out a little bit more of that rookie contract. But Tony Romo said it best on All or Nothing, the series on Amazon Prime, which is pretty cool. I mean, it stinks as a Cowboys fan to watch, us have a terrible season, but it's still cool to see the behind the scenes thing. But it really opened up my eyes to like go back and look at the tape, and you look at how Romo threw the ball to Dez and how Dak threw the ball to Dez. They had obviously a different relationship. Romo and Dez had way more chemistry. They played after practice. They worked on different things. After practice, Dak's playing with Jason Garrett, whatever. But where Dak would throw the ball to Dez and where Romo would throw the ball to Dez in, red zone scenarios, that sort of thing, were different. Romo would throw it up high so Dez could, grab it here.
Be a jump ball.
Dak was throwing it more either the right or left, which he's still a young quarterback. He's still got to work on those throws. Romo, to be honest, the fact that the Dallas Cowboys never won a Super Bowl with Tony Romo is absolutely absurd.
Should have been a catch.
The front office should be blown up for that.
Should have been a catch.
It's crazy. Exactly. That should have been
Not
a catch. That was probably, realistically, that was their year. And as crazy as that seems. And they win that Super Bowl that year. Dez Bryant never cut from Dallas. He's enshrined in, Dallas Cowboys Hall of Fame. Whatever.
Probably.
But I went back and looked at it, and it's just... So now you're going to have to see Dak develop with other receivers. So I can kind of see them... I'm starting to understand more of why they parted ways. And it's just Dak's got to develop more repertoire with the receivers he has now. Dez was used to how Romo played, and and I'm still a big believer of I think Romo needs to be back in that organization somehow, some way, and some sort of coaching.
Now.
He's not going to. I mean, it's too comfortable. It's great. It's a luxurious job. I mean,
and it's tough.
And he's great at it.
Right. It's tough. It's tough going from a guy like Romo to no matter how good you think Dak is.
Yeah.
It's tough to go from a guy like Romo who's had that experience, who you built that chemistry with, to all of a sudden go to Dak on a rookie, and then have your offense basically. I mean, because the Cowboys had a great running game with that offensive line of DeMarco Murray, but then having to essentially, like, it's good to have Romo who can still make those throws. Having to almost take a step back and go to Prescott, insert Ezekiel Elliott, and then switch the offense to run heavy, and then have Dak not being able to make those throws that Romo did. Definitely hurt Dez. But Dez is only hurting himself right now, not taking a 1-year deal.
Yeah, and just to wrap it up, I mean, I wanted to just recap here because, obviously on draft night, I wasn't the biggest fan of what Dallas did, but I mean, if you look at it,
let's talk about it. What do you think about Dallas?
I think their rebuild has been perfect, to be honest. I mean, if you talk to any GM around the league, any scout around the league, I mean, just doing the of what you think is best, what you would do if you're a GM. You look at it, you gotta have a good quarterback. Dallas has a decent quarterback, but you have to you want to build your offensive line, you want to build your defensive line. They've done that. You want to have a good run game. They have that with Ezekiel Elliott. And then the next piece that comes to that is the secondary, which they're starting to work on a little bit. I think that needs to get stronger. But the other piece of that is the linebackers. In a bubble screen league now that we're in, with the Antonio Browns of the league, what New England likes to do with their little pick plays that they get away with all the time. Don't get me started with that. I'm sure you would go on a rant with that.
Mike.
But
anything with the Patriots.
The Cowboys are doing that, and that's what they proved with their first-round draft pick. And I'm okay with it. Obviously Calvin Ridley would have been nice to woo the league away, but they're going to be okay. This Dallas team is going to go back to they're going to go to old school football and play just hard mouth football, which I'm excited to see.
No, yeah. My Jets got the quarterback of the future. The consensus number 1 QB in the draft falling to them at 3. This is like Chris RC. I'm gonna say because it's finally fun to be a Jet fan again. The past since the AFC Championship games, it's just been I can't even you just the butt of every joke. Everyone looks at you as a circus. You don't have the quarterback.
JETS, mess.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just all right, we get it. They suck. You telling me that they suck and making jokes. It's I still get it. They stink as a football team. Obviously,
kind of a rough life you have as a sports fan. You got to go against LeBron. You got to go against Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean
every year. Yeah, no matter what way you want to go.
Yeah, exactly. But now going back to my point, Christopher Johnson said we're gonna look back on this in 15 years or so. I forget the amount of years. And this is the day that the Jets turn it around. And
I agree with that.
Not to just go all Jets on you guys, but getting Darnold as the consensus number 1 pick at 3, and just his demeanor and his skill set to go along with a young defense and a leader with Jamal Adams, who is essentially, I wouldn't say the mascot because I think that's a little demeaning, but he is the team leader. He is the face of the Jets, and he's only had 1 season.
Yeah. They
have a young defense. They got a good secondary now with picking up Tremaine Johnson if Claiborne stays healthy. But I like the Perry Nickerson pick in the 6th round. I think that's great value. You got a young offense. You have really good receivers. I'm gonna say really good. Jermaine Kearse is not really good, but as a core with Enunwa, Anderson, and Kearse, I don't last year it was who do the Jets have to catch passes, and then Robbie Anderson goes out and almost has a 1,000-yard season with Josh McCown at quarterback.
Exactly.
Kearse, for trading for Sheldon Richardson and getting back a 2nd-round pick, and Kearse was phenomenal. So I think the Jets, I won't say really good, but they have pretty good receivers.
No,
Enunwa coming back from the neck injury. This is a good receiving core. Offensive line still needs to be fixed, but the pieces are getting set in place for the Jets to be a playoff contender for years to come.
I think the Jets are 2 drafts away from being an actual.
I think it's 1.
Really?
I think because they're gonna have $100 million in cap space next year. No matter where the draft where the Jets go next year for the Jets, I'm not worried about the record at all. I honestly don't care. Because it's all going to be about progression with players. It's all I want to see. If Darnold's going to make his turnovers. It's going to suck. Okay. Get those turnovers out of the way now. Learn from it.
Yep.
And get ready for 2019. If they end up with a number 3 pick or number 4 pick, I'm fine with that.
And I think that's going to be key. If Jets fans can... I mean, New York City's not an easy place to play in.
No.
You're playing in the Garden where you're playing MetLife.
Rational Jets fans should be like, screw the record this upcoming year. Like, okay, I get it. You want to root for wins, but like, don't be so upset if they lose.
Yeah.
Like...
The expectations have to be set. Let Darnold just, let him make his mistakes, let him learn. He still needs to be developed a little bit, and I think that's what people don't understand. I mean, obviously we know.
There's some mechanic issues that he needs to work on.
But realistically, we're going to look back at this draft, yes, he's going to probably be the best quarterback to come out of this draft.
Yeah, and
maybe potentially best player, depending on how you want to cut it.
Yeah, and the Jets got him at 3.
Yeah.
So, I'm very excited for the future for this Jets team. Very, very excited.
Oh, definitely. Let's jump next up to Mark Ingram. If you're in a fantasy keeper league, I'm sorry for you. Hopefully you don't have him. And there he goes doing the shimmy or whatever you want to call it. There,
I want to do that dance. I've always wanted to learn how to do that. Always. I've wanted to learn for the past year.
I feel like it's one of those things that
I
you either got it or you don't.
I'm a white.
I don't have it.
I'm a white. I can't dance.
Yeah, I don't have it.
No.
So, but Mark Ingram here, I mean, he's in a contract year. Obviously, the PED suspension came down. The NFL came out today. They said the appeal, it's over with, done, zilch, nothing, 4 games, hand it to you. What's kind of your takeaway on this?
I mean, it's not ideal going into a contract year.
Yeah.
I think it all depends on where the Saints are. Like, if they're a contender this year and they feel like they have another shot going at it, the year prior, or the following year, words are hard today, then you re-sign Ingram.
Yeah.
If not, you kind of just see how things play out with Kamara being the feature back in this offense. And like I said, if you feel like you can compete in 2019, you bring Ingram back. If you feel like Kamara gives you the best chance to win for going forward, you play Kamara. But it's really going to be hard to determine what Kamara is going into the future in 4 games. So I don't it sucks for him contract wise, but for the Saints, I don't think it's huge.
Yeah, no.
He's a really good player, but I don't Kamara being the feature back it sucks you don't have Ingram, but Kamara is a really good second option as your feature back.
The way that I look at this situation is, it's not bad for either party, really. I mean, you've seen it obviously here, different takes today and some late takes yesterday of, okay, it's bad for Ingram, okay, it's bad for the Saints, it's good for fantasy owners. Realistically, it's good for everybody. I think right here, this is perfect for the Saints. You have a chance now to see if Alvin Kamara is your future or not.
Mm-hmm.
You got 4 games to test it out. Mark Ingram obviously had a phenomenal season last year. Now the only scrutiny thing that's going to come about is, okay, well, he was on that juice. He was on this sort of thing people are going to say. Obviously came out, there were reports saying that, the supposedly banned substances that he used, I guess, could have been approved for if he went to the league first, yada, 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 if he had proof or whatever, which you should have did that anyways. You're going to get tested, whatever.
Yeah.
I'm done with that situation. The suspension's there. It's 4 games. It's whatever. I think now Mark Ingram really needs to come out and prove it, being in a contract year, that he can still play, he can still perform at a high level.
Right.
But I think realistically, I want to say that Kamara is going to do just fine, and I think this is going to be Ingram's going to go to somewhere else next year. I think New Orleans is going to realize, okay, we're good with 2 running back set. We don't want to give Ingram money because I still think Ingram can perform. I think he's going to come out and play fine.
And I think the Saints being the offense that they are, where it's not reliant on the run game. I mean, it was good. Last year, the Saints' run game really improved, and we hadn't seen that with them with Breeze. But being such a pass-heavy offense and relying on the pass, I think they'll be just fine without Ingram for 4 games.
No, yeah, definitely. But let's just jump to our last topic of the day. I know we touched on the NFL draft a little bit here, guys, but who do you think stole the show come draft night? I mean, who was that? Okay, that was my team. They did it.
A couple teams. It sucks to say. I like what the Giants did. Getting Barkley at 2, I wouldn't have picked a running back at 2, but putting Barkley in that situation, getting Will Hernandez, having Barkley run behind Will Hernandez is going to be a fun sight to see because Will Hernandez is a beast. He's a bad man. I like what the Lions did. Getting Frank Ragnow in the first round, he's a bully. And he's going to start, and it's perfect for Vrabel. It's very physical.
Yeah.
Kerryon Johnson is in a good fit with the Lions. He's a physical runner. He came from Auburn. He played against those SEC defenses. Getting Tyrell Crosby in like the 5th round was a massive steal. Like I wanted him for the Jets if he was still on the board. We'll see how Deshaun Hand plays and see if he can, get some reps in with that defensive line in Detroit. But I like that pick in the later rounds. So I think those two, the Giants getting Kyle Aletta, we'll see if he's their quarterback of the future. I know a lot of people had him rated high as maybe a 2nd or 3rd round pick. Maybe people thought Patriots were going to take him in the 2nd round. And then getting him in the later round was really nice. I like the Broncos draft too. I really do.
Yeah, getting
Bradley Chubb.
Steal.
I don't know if it was because Elway's drafts haven't been good lately, and you get Bradley.
That was
Chubb.
the lucky auto pick.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Get Bradley
It's
Chubb at 5. That's tremendous value. You get Cortland Sutton, Deshaun Hamilton, Demaryius Thomas and essentially Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders replacements.
Yeah.
I like
and
that.
they get to learn behind those guys.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying. You took the words out of my mouth. That's a team. I think Denver Broncos by far that had the best draft. You're gonna get your replacements for your receivers that you're gonna need going forward. You get I think overall second cleanest prospect in the draft. I'm still sticking with Minkah Fitzpatrick. I think that's the cleanest prospect in the draft, but I think getting Bradley Chubb at 5. I mean that's just how the cards fell. John Elway, like you said, has had bad drafts before, so I'm not gonna jump all in. But I look at the draft. You look at the tape. He couldn't have messed up. I think maybe someone else drafted for him.
That wouldn't surprise me at all. Who do you think had the worst draft?
Who do I think had the worst draft?
Kind of going off script here.
I think the Cleveland Browns.
You think they had the worst draft?
I think the Cleveland Browns had the worst draft.
Was it the Ward pick at 4 that's skewed you?
It was the number 1 overall pick.
Oh.
Listen,
You said that with the most serious look on your face, like I'm an idiot.
I said. No, I know I did.
You were like, no, it was number 1 pick.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, all right.
I think.
Mike, calm down over there.
I love.
All right, Des caught it. Relax. It was a couple years ago.
I'm still working.
Get over it.
I'm worked out. Yeah. I gotta check my pulse. But no, I think Baker Mayfield. Okay, I think I'm sticking by. I think he's a great quarterback. However, I go back to what you need. He's not gonna beat.
You are sitting on that Saquon Barkley.
The only way he beats out Tyrod Taylor is if Tyrod gets hurt, or if they're okay, you know what? Screw it. We want to force Mayfield to be the starter. He's not beating Tyrod Taylor out in camp. You look at last year's stats for the interception ratio. It was Tom Brady and it was Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor had no receivers. Calvin Benjamin, whatever. He was
not good.
I don't even want to count him.
He's not
as
good.
a receiver. I still don't even, I forget he's on Buffalo.
He's not good.
But now you have Jarvis Landry. You have Josh Gordon.
You get if Antonio Callaway is not a dumbass and keeps his head on his shoulders, that's a scary receiver group.
Scary team.
Yeah.
And just think of how much scary it could have been if you got Saquon Barkley.
You're never gonna.
And that's gonna
you
be
are
one of those
never
picks
gonna
that
waver
they're
from
never
that.
gonna let down.
I have to commend you for never wavering from that. I really do.
And I stick by that, and I can't wait to see the Cleveland Browns win 6 games this year. And you're gonna look back at it and be like, it should have been 8 games because if they would have drafted Saquon Barkley. If they went Barkley and Chubb, you had it. It was right there. Barkley, Chubb. This team wins 8 games this year. It flirts beating off Pittsburgh and everybody.
Tyrod is a joke. This man must be a Buffalo fan.
Tyrod is a joke. Okay.
Buffalo
we were
Buffalo
gonna end the show. We were gonna end the show.
Tyrod.
We were gonna end the show.
It's unreal how much Buffalo fans.
I want him to retweet this right now, so his followers can understand.
That guy probably loves Josh Allen. That guy probably looks at Josh Allen like that's our future. And I can't wait till he throws more receptions to Jamal Adams than he does Buffalo receivers.
That's my second worst draft.
Is
the Buffalo Bills.
If I go Homer, I'm picking the Bills because they got Josh Allen. I like the Tremaine Edmonds
The Buffalo Bills is my second worst draft. What did I say multiple times? Don't draft the court. They're not ready for Buffalo. Buffalo's not ready for a quarterback. They're still not ready for a quarterback.
No, they're ready for
Josh Allen's not ready for the NFL.
They're ready for Josh Allen. You Buffalo fans. Josh Allen, you
He
nailed
had
that.
to be one
You
because
nailed that pick.
because you know what really made me mad? It really ruffled my feathers
Ruffled
beyond belief.
Ruffled them.
Was last year when Tyrod got they won the whole.
Oh, the Pete Man.
Yeah.
The Pete Man, 5 interceptions.
Everyone was like, "Oh wow, now we got a quarterback." Every Buffalo fan was like, "We have a quarterback in Buffalo. This, and that." No, you don't.
The Pete
no.
Man. Pete Man coming to
And then
save
he
the day.
had what 6 turnovers that game, and he had 5 picks and a fumble. He was bad.
Oh man!
Like-
I don't think I've ever laughed so hard watching a professional sports game than I did watching Peterman just over and over
Yeah.
throw the ball to the wrong color.
And I can't wait to interview him. The first time I see Nathan Peterman, the first question I'm gonna ask him, I don't care if it's 10 years from now, 15 years
Can
from
we
now,
get
20
Nathan
years from
Peterman on
now,
the show?
it's gonna be Nathan.
What
Let's
were
take
you
you back.
thinking?
Let's talk about that game. Did you
How?
go out of your way to be that bad? Because that was the worst performance I've ever seen. Ryan Leaf at this age right now would be better than that.
I saw Ryan Fitzpatrick throw 6 interceptions in one game, so
Yeah.
I can't say. But the Pete Man was very, very bad.
Yeah, there's no potential in him though.
No, that was.
But yeah, that
you
was
got
a
your
good-
guy, Buffalo, Josh Allen.
Look at Buffalo sneaking in there because of that comment
Yeah, love it.
in the show.
Have fun with him.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, that's
Great
good.
guy. Kudos to him. Hey,
Yeah,
round of
yeah.
applause.
Yeah.
But guys, this was DYST Live, another edition of it, presented by MyBookie.ag.
It was.
To the right, I got Greg Armstrong. You guys still, depending on your site that you still got a little bit of time to bet the Boston-Philly game. I'm loading up Boston. I think you get them at -105 for money line, no pick. That's my lock of the night. And Brad Stevens, we trust. Book it. If it doesn't happen, I'll just crop it out.
We'll edit that out.
I'm just kidding.
Peace out, guys. See you
Signing
next
off,
week.
guys. We'll see you next week.